I had done more and achieved more of that list than I had ever achieved in my life. This is about a decade ago. I was at this team retreat that we had put together, and we had got a few speakers to come in, and everybody was sharing their success strategies. They were talking about what do they do, what are some of their daily practices, weekly practices, monthly practices. And one of the speakers went on to say, well, one of their key practices is that they write down their goals every month and they revisit it almost every single day. Like, they go ahead and read their goals every single day. And I got inspired in a way where I was like, okay, I've never really written down what do I want to achieve, or if I do, I look at it maybe once a year or something like that. And you know, it's like one of those New Year resolution things. You're like, all right, it's New Year's, I must set what I'm gonna achieve this year, and then you just completely forget about it. So I'm like, okay, let's look at this. What is this whole deal of writing it and reviewing it every day? So I wrote down my goals, but I did one better. I wrote down my goals, and then I started writing, how will I tackle each of these goals? How do I make these goals come reality? And these goals were not year-long goals. Some of these were 5-year, 10-year goals. Goals where I was like, I want to buy a house for my family, or I want to become the CEO of Mindvalley, or I want to start this particular type of company. And I would write those goals down, and I would start tackling them one at a time. I would be like, all right, so this is how I get to get the house. This is how much I need. This is how I will create it. This is where I will go. This is what I would do. And I started making that a practice. It was automatic to me. Every month I would go out, I will take the back of my journal, I will write down each of the goals, and then I will start to write down how will I tackle that goal. Now, of course, the how do I tackle the goal changed every time I would write the goal, because it was a month later, I had new insight, new information. And so I would write a different strategy and game plan. Now, what I realized, which is the key, is that I realized that in a year, I had done more and achieved more of that list than I had ever achieved in my life. Because firstly, I didn't have the list, and secondly, because what I thought would take me 5 years, 3 years, 10 years even, was taking me significantly less time. Writing down a goal is important. Writing down how you will tackle the goal is equally important. And writing them often to check in if that is the goal that you still resonate with, and that is the strategy that you still resonate with, is the key to making those goals a reality. Recently, I was listening to this book by this American comic. Her name's Tiffany Haddish, and she talks about this one story about when she was homeless and she was living out of her Geo Metro. And one day she goes to perform at a comedy club, and Kevin Hart's performing at the comedy club, and Kevin Hart ends up walking outside with her to her car and looks inside in the car and says, Tiffany, what the heck are you doing? And Tiffany goes, well, I'm between houses, because she didn't want to tell Kevin Hart that she was homeless. Kevin said, Tiffany, you're a beautiful girl. Please don't be staying on the streets. Here's $300. I want you to go get a hotel room, write down all the goals, all the things you want to achieve, and write down how you're going to tackle it. You see, the challenge often is that we all have goals, but we never write down how we are going to tackle it. We never write down frequently how we're going to tackle it. And so these goals becomes these things, and we feel like it will be law of attraction that will work for us, and these goals will just come to reality because we write it down. But goals come to reality because we tackle them, because we go out and do something about it. So my invitation to you today is, go ahead and write down your goals. But go one step further. Write down how you will tackle it, and you will see your goals will come true faster.